And here we go, 2 o'clock, live, straight up. It is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Busy day. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my guy? How you feeling over there, man?
Real fine. I got all tightened up over here. Big show today,
you got that Lady James cut. No, big show today. Obviously, we're going to dive into Jim Harbaugh. We found out some behind-the-scenes things, talk about the Vikings situation. Obviously, a huge day for Brian Flores, the NFL, the teams that he's going against in the class action lawsuit. So we'll have some information on that for everybody. And, you know, the snow didn't kill us. So, you know what? We're doing good so far, man.
That's right. Tom Mazawey along with us as well. Made it in safely today.
Tomorrow might be a different story.
One day at a time, that's for sure. Guys, we are packed today. We're going to get to John U. Bacon in mere moments. Dan Lust, sports attorney to the stars at Sports Law Lust, will join us about the Brian Flores situation and the lawsuit against the National Football League. Angelique Chengelis will join us in hour number 2 of the program. What is the latest with Jim Harbaugh? Expected to be in Minneapolis today, meeting with Vikings ownership and the general manager there, who he had a previous relationship with in San Francisco. We're all under the impression if he is offered the job, he will take it. What does that mean now? What happens next? We don't know, but he's got some convincing to do. John U. Bacon, Braylon, on Twitter today gave really, I think, the most perfect backstory that I've seen of anybody earlier today, just adding context to this visit in Minnesota and all the things that could happen, all the dominoes that can fall, all the convincing that has to happen, all the seriousness in which Jim Harbaugh has taken this interview. So, without further ado, let's bring him in. Here he is, John U. Bacon, on with us live now. Mr. Bacon, good afternoon to you, my friend.
John to you.
And to you. Snow day with my kid home. Hello, Teddy.
Yes, that's fantastic. Snow days all around. You'll probably get another one tomorrow. But, John, let me just start with this because you know, I think there was a connection to the Raiders earlier. Whatever happened, that didn't happen. Jim Harbaugh seems intent on getting another job with an NFL team, going back to the NFL. The why, I guess we can ask. But what is going to happen today? I thought you put on Twitter, added so much context to it. What is your take on what has to happen today for Jim Harbaugh to get this opportunity with the Vikings?
Well, these interviews, as Braylon knows, I'm sure, the NFL stuff, man, these things are marathons. It's a 9-hour day, apparently, and I've done some interviews like that on the other side. It's exhausting. So, of course, Jim's got more energy than most, but he'll be going through the whole car wash, if you will, the whole Will family as others, the GM, of course. Got to answer 2 main questions, as I understand it. One, why go with a 58-year-old man when everyone else is going with a 42-year-old guy? These days, the youth movement is upon us. So are you modern enough to handle the current NFL game, having been out for 7 years? The second question is, do you play well with others? Are you difficult to work with? That's the line that Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, and the nephew of Eddie DeBartolo Jr., that's the line that he's been pumping to every owner who will listen, and, of course, others as well. So if you can do that successfully, I believe got to be 80-90% at least that he'll be offered the job. 100% he'll take it, as you've already reported, Ryan, correctly, I think, that he'll take it. And then tomorrow, a whole different discussion, isn't it? So that's the most likely scenario unless something goes sideways.
John, let me ask you about why Jim Harbaugh wants to go back to the NFL. We hear about the salary cut in half last year, maybe a drive to win a Super Bowl, perhaps like his brother. Maybe that's just something, as Rocky Balboa said, that's something left in the basement. I got something left in the basement. Was it that? Is it this new age of college football with NIL? Where he sees Alabama, he sees Georgia, and he's just like, you know, we're not set up to win like that here at Michigan. Why do you think he has entertained this thought to go back to the NFL as real as it is now?
Well, Ryan, to answer your very well laid out multi-part question, yes. How's that?
All of it.
Shots fired.
That all the above, basically. A few things stand out. I never heard him complain publicly or even privately about his contract last year. And I thought, if you're 2-4, Ward's got to do something with 1 year left in your contract. Ward Manuel, the AD at Michigan, of course. I wrote at the time, and I still maintain it was a fair deal with a lot of incentives. And if you want to insult me at $4 million, go right ahead. So it's all relative, of course. But after he did it, I don't know if the bear hug followed. I think the offer on the table right now is said to be good, solid, certainly in range. But I think the relationship between Ward and Jim is a little strained. I wouldn't call it dysfunctional. But there's, that's got to happen in this mix. You mentioned the lack of a level playing field. That is a much bigger deal, I think, Harbaugh, than has been reported. Look, I mean, you say something like it's hard to beat the cheaters, as he did in my previous book, Overtime. He gets a ton of crap for that. Tell me it's not true. So there's that aspect as well. NIL, of course, is going to make what was already illegal is now legal. And guess what? The SEC is way ahead of the Big Ten on this one. So that's going to be tough, I think. And I think the bigger thing is your Rocky Balboa basement line is probably the biggest thing. Look, when he took the job, Harbaugh took the job at Michigan in 2014, he told Jim Hackett, the interim AD at the time who hired him, that, I promise you 7 years and I still have some unfinished business in the NFL. Well, this is 7 years and that's the NFL. So this might be his last chance to take that dive. And it's a bit instructive to find out at 12-2, your first big win over Ohio State, convincing win in the Big Ten title game, got an invitation to the football playoff, and of course got crushed by Georgia, but so did Alabama, I guess. That really only one team that we know of is this serious. So it shows you how few opportunities there might be in the NFL. So this might be, in some ways, his last chance to grab it. So break it all down, I'd probably rank them in reverse order. NFL appeal first. Lack of level playing field second, and a realization after last year that the fans are fickle and the AD can be as well, and you're 1, 2, and 4 year away from blowing up, basically.
Talking to John U. Bacon, one of the good friends of the show, author of Let Them Lead, New York Times bestseller. Also, don't be too sure that Ohio State is not close to SEC in terms of cheating. No, but I got a question. I'm going to more so talk about the Michigan aspect of things. I appreciate that. The Michigan aspect of things is, now if he doesn't get the job in Minnesota and he doesn't get one of the vacancies, what happens when he comes back? Like, how is he received by players? How is he received by family of the players and the organization or the family as well? That is Michigan. It seems like he's just grasping at a get out, and here we are, and now he doesn't get one. How does he receive when he comes back?
I would not want to be on that plane ride back. That would be unpleasant, uncomfortable, and so on. It's possible. As I said, I don't think it's quite a done deal. So that's not impossible. And look, you know better than anybody, billionaire owners can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, this is their Xbox, basically. This is their toy. So who knows? They decide. I would say a few things. One, the players would probably be more sympathetic to him exploring an option than the fans will be. My old joke, of course, is some Michigan fans aren't happy unless they're not happy. They find things to complain about. Well, now you got one. 20-30% will probably be in his camp no matter what. The players would be more forgiving, I think. But here's the problem going forward. One, on the one hand, I can say, look, as far as lame duck goes, what was last year? Hell, you got a do-or-die contract, and they went 12-2. So as lame duck as that was, you got a great staff together with adding Mike Hart and Ron Bellamy, some real stars in there, I think. And they went 12-2, so who knows? Flip side is, in the past, the previous 7 years, these rumors, as we all know, NFL rumors, came up every single weekend. Michigan won on Saturday, and some NFL team lost on Sunday. And if it's Indianapolis or Chicago, he's going there on Monday. So we're used to all that. The difference this time is I never saw Jim's fingerprints anywhere near any of those things. They were started by NFL teams, by agents, by media, by opposing coaches to negatively recruit, but never by Jim. In this case, Jim has clearly put his hat in the ring, and you can no longer say you have no interest. So that would be, I think, tougher going forward than it has been so far. I think it's doable. He did it last year under different circumstances. But would it be hard? Oh, hell yeah, it'd be hard. But never bet against him, I guess.
I will almost fully agree with you that billionaires can do everything they want with the exception of pay for their own stadiums, but that's neither here nor there.
Well played.
Boom.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, John, I wanted to ask you about the Will family, the owners of the Vikings. You mentioned in your text thread, which was awesome, there is a minority owner in Minnesota that's against him, as well as Jed York and the people in San Francisco. And it all stems from Jim Harbaugh not getting along with Trent Baalke. He wanted him fired. They wouldn't do it. But then when they fire Harbaugh, they wind up firing Baalke anyway. I mean, what's your take on this whole thing? Do you think he gets this job today?
I do. Now, keep in mind, that's a 9-hour marathon. You're meeting with a lot of people and a lot of conversations, and I'm not in any of them. So I can't tell you how it's going. So anything's possible. I want to have that caveat out there. But, man, they don't fly him up on National Signing Day knowing the sacrifice that is for Jim. Because you're showing your cards. You're going all in at that point. They would not do that for giggles, I don't think. So I think they are serious about it. My limited sources up there, admittedly, tell me that they are serious about it. I think the Baalke stuff does not go very far because he's now in Jacksonville and having a hell of a time, obviously. And, of course, Jed York, owners probably listen to owners in many cases, but a while it gets old. There is the minority owner there, Jim Stapleton, former trustee at EMU, guy I know, who was a Michigan alumnus as well. Who is not a fan of Jim Harbaugh's, and he's made that clear. But he's also a minority owner in terms of, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but it's 5 or 10%, somewhere in there. So the Will family does not have to listen to him per se. If he survives those two things with the general manager in his back, in his corner, and whatever interview skills he brings to the table, then he should survive it. Again, if they found those comments from Jed York or from Jim Stapleton overwhelming, he would not be in Minneapolis right now. So he can overcome that, is my guess.
All right, John, here's just a quick two-parter, quick ones. Jim Harbaugh, he's got his quarterback now if he stays in Minnesota. He's got a Michigan State guy in Kirk Cousins. Can those two work together? And part B, Michigan, they've kind of known this was coming. Who's the leader in the clubhouse to take over?
Great questions. I'll be as quickly as I can. The Michigan State thing, no problem whatsoever. These are professionals. What Jim wants is a quarterback, and you have one, of course, in Kirk Cousins. And I think Kirk Cousins would say the same thing. He wants to win, period. When I first saw Jim in 2014, first time in years, he was in Traverse City for the wedding of one of his former NFL players who had gone to Michigan State. So it ain't no thing. And Braylon, man, in the league's the league. You might razz each other, but
with the exception of Cleveland. I said, with the exception of teams in Ohio, they don't seem to be able to get over that Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. They're like the only one. Everybody else, LSU, the Saints, and Georgia and Alabama, but something about Ohio. Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
At that point too, that's part of it. But who's next? Great parlor game question that will fill your airwaves for the next week or so. Internally, the two obvious ones I would say would be Josh Gaddis, the OC, who of course won the award for Assistant Coach of the Year. The Royals Award. Right behind him is Michael Hart, and great guy. Already done a hell of a job at Western Michigan, Indiana, now at Michigan with tailbacks, but he's not even been a coordinator yet. He's 3 to 5 years away from being ripe, if you will. But what I'm hearing is it's possible he could leapfrog Gaddis in the hierarchy. I'm hearing that from a few different sources. Who knows till you're even in that situation. Other candidates out there have got to be Matt Campbell, Iowa State. Luke Fickell, I've been told, would certainly take the phone call. And that would be a Bo-esque move to pull in a guy from Ohio who can recruit Ohio. And it's clearly done. By the way, I missed on him. When he went 6-7 that interim year at Ohio State, I thought, man, this guy can't coach, because between him is a 10-win year and a 12-2 year or 12-0 year with Urban Meyer, and I was dead wrong about that one. Add Bill O'Brien, Penn State coach for 2 years. I was in that locker room, saw him do a hell of a job keeping that program together. He's a Brown graduate. That'll appeal to the regions and all that. So other candidates out there as well. Man, right now it could be anyone. But as we say, as I always say, they're both going to be 1-0. Ward Manuel, everyone, and that's it. So no committee here.
Hey, John, last question. 24 hours ago, if you and I talked and Jim Harbaugh got an offer from Minnesota, would Stephen Ross then give him a call, and would Miami be an option for him 24 hours ago? And now, with all the turmoil going on with that situation, is that off the table? Would Stephen Ross even make that call now? because he said he was not going to be responsible for taking Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan. But if he's going to the Vikings, why not get in on him at that point? But would Harbaugh even entertain Miami with all the turmoil going on there now?
My strong sense is no and no.
Mm-hmm.
The turmoil, I would have said that without the turmoil, but the turmoil is real. The turmoil is going to be a serious story for some time. And may, actually jeopardize Ross's control of the program. I would say no, but and I was also told that by some sources down there who know it well, that he has doubled down on his determination not to interfere with the process. That said, Ryan, it was about 9 days ago, I think it was, or 8 days ago, on Tuesday of last week, January 24th, at the end of one of my little updates, I said, and keep an eye on Minnesota. That was a flyer. I don't think anyone else said that at the time. I didn't take it all that seriously at that time, but what the hell? I've been hearing a couple of things. If you told me then that he's going to Minnesota a week later, which may well be the case right now, I would never have believed that. So who the hell knows anything?
The great John U. Bacon, New York Times best-selling author. If you haven't read his latest book, buy it now. Let Them Lead: Unexpected Lessons in Leadership from America's Worst High School Hockey Team. Lessons in leadership for sure. If you are a boss, if you want to be a boss, if you're a coach, read it. Buy the book. The great John U. Bacon. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Thanks, John.
Always a pleasure, guys.
You still got to have that meal, man. I'm telling you, still got to have that meal. I got you covered.
All right. So John U kind of led us into our. We're going to talk to Angelique in the top of hour number 2. Get more of a Michigan, what she's talking about with the players, what Harbaugh's telling recruits. She had a conversation with Will Johnson, the 5-star recruit from University of Michigan, Grosse Pointe South. His dad, Deion Johnson, of course, the quotes in the paper, all that. So we'll talk to Angelique coming up. Top of hour number 2. Coming up next, though, we have to get it in the Brian Flores situation with the Miami Dolphins. Stephen Ross, it's a mess down there. The Rooney Rule, it's a mess. It always has been. We'll talk about it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
You want commercials? The other guys have those. You want great sports takes? Touchdown! What a play! Woodward Sports has those. Detroit's new sports outlet. The Woodward Sports Network.
Citron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with the line of, what the hell. You see this stuff right here? This stuff is amazing. I've been drinking it now since probably about the middle of December. It just feels good. Like when you go out, you get a good job, you buy clothes because they enhance your brand. You feel good. You go on dates. You go to nice restaurants because you feel good. It's a nice lifestyle. Well, you know what enhances that lifestyle? A nice car. You know what else enhances that lifestyle? Health. This stuff right here, I'm telling you, man, if you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, right here. Balanced hydration, also right here. Essential vitamins and great taste, right here, and right here. Citron definitely should be your choice. Buy online at citronworld.com with promo code REDWINGS10. Proud partnership with the Detroit Pistons as well as the Detroit Red Wings. It's sold exclusively at LCA. Right now, drink it, live it with Citron.
Get your Citron, absolutely, guys. And, hey, if you're watching on YouTube, we certainly appreciate it. Tell a friend about us. We've got some great stuff coming for you today. John U. Bacon was fantastic, as always. Nails it. We're going to have Dan Luss, sports attorney to the Stars, breaking down the Brian Flores lawsuit against the NFL, a class action lawsuit. Angelique Chengelis coming up, top of hour number 2. If you are in, thank you so much. And we will continue on right now. When this Brian Flores news broke towards the end of our show yesterday that he is
340 to be exact.
that he is suing the NFL, a class action lawsuit against the NFL for their racist hiring policies. It kind of took us all by storm, and it's something that Braylon, help me out with this, because it's something that you know, but when you see it real up front, it kind of hits you a different way. You ever have a family member that you know is dying and you're trying to prepare for it, for it, But when they actually die, you're like devastated.
Yeah.
This is I kind of equate it to that. Like, this is going on.
Yeah.
These hiring policies, these racist hiring policies are happening. There's one black coach in the NFL.
Yes.
But when you see it, it hits you a little different.
Definitely hits you a little bit different. Let's start here. The NFL, the country was started on racism. Let's get that out in the open. I think because a lot of times when you talk about racism, people, they don't like to have the conversation.
Clam up.
Exactly. They clam up and they figure if they don't talk about it, then it doesn't exist. Racism has existed for a very long time since this country started, and it still exists to this day, and it will exist for a very long time. With that being said, the NFL started off 1920. No black people in the NFL. 1946, first black guy, Leon Washington, I do believe, or Kenny Washington, excuse me.
I was going to say from the Jets, Leon Washington.
I played with
Leon,
him. I played with him. Kenny Washington, 1946. Art Show, first black coach, 1989. Doug Williams,
Raiders.
First round quarterback draft pick, 1978, wins the Super Bowl, 1986, and wins MVP. So with all that being said, you now see the timeline that it's taken a while for them to integrate. So let's get that out in the open. It still is a process, and with the Rooney Rule should be disbanded, because what the Rooney Rule forced people to do is it pushed people, it forced the NFL owners to do things that they didn't want to do in terms of or interview people that weren't on their radar, interview people that they weren't having any idea that they wanted to have on the staff, that they weren't going to bring in really. They were just doing it just to fill a quota. When you do things just to fill a quota, it gets worse, it gets worse, it gets worse. Now, with that being said, with Brian Flores, this is where Brian Flores comes from. 2019, Stephen Ross comes to him towards the end of the season and says, hey, for every game you tank, I'll give you $100,000. So keep in mind, he's a black coach, first-year black coach, and he has the owner telling him, if you come to me, if you lose games, give you $100,000 for every game you lose.
Can I make this point? Because I think this is enormous here. Repeat that. Think about that, guys. The owner of an NFL team is offering the first-year black head coach.
Oh, and he wasn't the first owner to do so.
$100,000 per loss.
Right.
Think about that.
So now insert.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. Great point. So insert this in terms of Brian. I'm just taking you through Brian Flores' thought process, how we got to him with the lawsuit, right? So Brian Flores is a first-year black coach in Miami, okay? And in the first year, black coaches aren't getting opportunities that much anyway. And in his first year, Stephen Ross comes to him and says, hey, for every game you tank or every game you lose, give you $100,000 extra. Now he's in the bind like, damn, I want to keep coaching. I don't want to lose games. Thought one. Thought two, Stephen Ross comes to him in 2000, and this is all allegations, but Stephen Ross comes to him in 2020 in the offseason in the winter and says, hey, I want you to come to my yacht, take a meeting, let's just sit down and talk. Brian Flores says, cool. As he's going down there to the meeting the next day, Stephen Ross texts him and says, hey, I got a player that's coming, pretty high profile, free agent quarterback. Well, that guy was Tom Brady. This is still in the tampering phases. So, and once again, allegations. According to Brian Flores, he says, you know what? I tell him no thank you on the meeting, and I'll leave right away. Fast forward, they end up having a winning record that season. The next season, which is last year, he has a winning record, wins 8 out of the last 9 games, gets fired after having 2 winning seasons, and the only guy that consistently can beat Bill Belichick in that division, right? Gets fired. Still taking you inside the mind of Brian Flores, right? So now he's interviewing, expecting jobs. He's interviewing. He goes out to Denver to do an interview, and he says, John Elway, as well as a couple other guys that were in that meeting room, not only were they late, they were inebriated, or you could feel the night from before on them, or you could smell the night before on them. So they came up basically and showed disrespect in his mind. Keep in mind, this is still his mind. They're showing disrespect. So when I'm fired from a coach who told me, I want to tamper. I want you to tank. I want you to tank games and do this. Now he's putting out the mindset, talking about Stephen Ross. This guy is difficult to work with. Now he's interviewing with a team who's not showing up on time, and they're showing up a little bit of the night before. Fast forward to Brian Daboll's mistaken text. Now he gets a mistaken text from Bill Belichick. Well, Bill Belichick is trying to send Brian Daboll the text, and he's trying to congratulate him. He's trying to tell him, hey, good job on the job. Only problem is he was talking to the wrong Brian, talking to Brian Daboll. So now, and this, if you're watching, you see the text right here.
Here are the texts, and they're so far away from me, I'm having trouble reading them. But the basic point in these texts are Bill Belichick sends Brian Flores the text that says, "Hey, congratulations on the job," and Flores says, "Are you hearing something that I'm not hearing?" And then it goes even further and says, "Are you sure you're texting the right Brian? Did you mean to text Brian Dable?" And then he says, "Sorry, I bleeped that up. I double-checked and I misread the text. I think they're naming Dable. I'm sorry for that, BB."
So with this being said, and even after reading this text from Bill Belichick, who we'll get into that at some point too, and why he did this on accident, but even in reading these texts, he still takes the meeting with the New York Giants because he still believes that people are good. He still believes that he has a chance. He still believes that he can wow them, according to himself on CBS this morning, on Get Up Football this morning, as well as on First Things First. Still believes he has an opportunity. Still believes he can go in there and wow them. And he hopes that it's not true. He hopes that this isn't true, right? Goes in there and does that. Dayball gets the job like he knew he was going to get 3 days prior. The mindset in Brian Flores and why he went after the Broncos, why he went after the Dolphins, why he went after the Giants and NFL. And keep in mind, he's not going after Stephen Ross for racism. I don't want people to get him lumped into the racism side of things. That's what you call just unethical. But in terms of why he's going after those people, he's fed up. He was fed up, and he knew this was going on, gave them another opportunity, and he knows somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb when it comes to situations like this, whether it's Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, insert person here, they have to be the sacrificial lamb. You see all these, and you know what, at the end of the day, I don't care anymore about this. I gave these individuals an opportunity. I gave them an opportunity. They, at every turn, they disproved me. Now it's bigger than that. Now I got to represent what my belief is. And my belief is you got to blow this shit up because things have to change. Excuse my French.
We all thought he'd be the first guy off the board.
Yeah, we did.
Because he's earned that.
Because he's a winner.
He's a winner.
Yeah.
The first year I saw him, I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching the Sunday Ticket, and I watched the Dolphins compete. And I said to all my friends, I'm like, out of all the Belichick people, that's the guy, that's the best guy right there. The Dolphins had no talent, and they were competing, and he was on the field going after the referees. See, I like that kind of coach. I like a fiery coach. I wish that the Giants hired that guy as a Giant fan. I wanted him as my head coach. He got screwed.
What happens with this lawsuit now? We will talk to Dan Luss, sports attorney to the Stars. We'll do that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the bottom line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Man, oh man, thanks everybody watching on YouTube. On fire right now, and we certainly appreciate that. We'll continue on. We'll talk Jim Harbaugh coming up in just a little bit as well. Angelique Chengelis in about 30 minutes from now. We had John U. Bacon. He is expected to get hired by the Minnesota Vikings later today. What does that mean for the University of Michigan? We will get back to that.
Do they sell purple khakis?
But we are talking about really the story of the news day as well. Brian Flores filing a complaint against the NFL. Here's the tweet from Dan Luss. Let's talk to Dan Luss right now, sports attorney to the Stars. Dan, thanks so much for the time, my friend. First of all, just big picture, this whole lawsuit, what do you make of it? And what do you make of Brian Flores filing this lawsuit against the NFL?
So I think there's the legal answer I could give you, then there's just kind of like the human being in me that kind of has taken a step back, right? I'm sure your chat's blowing up just like my replies are too. From a legal perspective, you ask me, I think that Brian Flores probably would have been better off waiting to see how these interviews would have gone with the Texans and the Saints. Who knows, right? Maybe he gets the job, right? That's one thing. And maybe he doesn't get the job. If he doesn't get the job, certainly that makes a lawsuit based on racial discrimination a much stronger case. And maybe, guys, if he gets the jobs, it maybe brings a little bit more attention to a very important cause, but he's now an active NFL head coach, so it puts the NFL in a certainly precarious position. It brings maybe a lot more attention to it, one way or the other. And then there's comments that I'm seeing online that, the way that this was done, the way that it was filed so quickly right after the Daboll hiring, that this shock and awe, and that Flores is, by all optics, ready to throw, right? I think he's okay with this fate, ready to throw his NFL coaching career away to make a point. I think that's what's driving the story ahead of the Brady story, right? Ahead of the Washington Commanders story. Why everyone's talking about this, and it's not just sports fans. So, yeah, the lawyer in me could tell you, hey, we should have waited. But the human being in me, and I'm just seeing the comments on social media that, we're not talking about Brady. So obviously his lawyers did an effective job of the timing and maybe the unexpected element of this lawsuit. The day after we have the conference finals, this is filed. So, yeah, that was my initial takeaway. The timing I thought was odd, and then once I had time to process it, I'm like, you know what? They won. They won the headlines here.
Yeah, I think the big thing for us is, Ryan said it before we got you on, Dan. Always good to see you. Appreciate you coming on with us. This is going on. Like, people, and that's in any job. You already may have your candidate, or the guy that you want to hire, or the female that you want to hire, set corporation to be this or that. You know who you want to hire. The problem is, this is the first time where you're seeing it known for sure before it happened. Like, and not only is it the Giants organization, it'd be different if this was set text in the Giants organization. This is Bill Belichick. Last time I checked, Bill Belichick has nothing to do with the Giants organization. I think that was the biggest problem. I think for Brian Flores, you add everything that happened from the Denver interview, the things he dealt with in Miami, on top of seeing this text message, kind of broke him. And he got to the point where he said, you know what, it doesn't matter about coaching anymore. I don't care about the other jobs on the table. It's more so I'm just going to expose this for what it is. If I get another job, I get another job. But if I don't, it needs to be exposed that this information is being passed days before said individual was getting a job. And I didn't have a question there. That was just my thoughts.
No, I think, I'll push back on one thing, the Bill Belichick element, which everyone has kind of said this is the smoking gun. This is going to crack the case wide open. For better or for worse, right? Bill Belichick is a guy that knows things in NFL circles, right? That's where he got to where he is. He's probably very locked in. But from a legal perspective, and that's all I can give you guys, right? I'm not in the locker rooms. Bill Belichick legally does not have the ability to bind the New York Giants to those statements, right? He's not an employee. He's not an agent. He's not John Mara. Doesn't own the team. So who is Bill Belichick to say, right, officially, that the Giants had picked Brian Daboll? So I understand and I appreciate, Flores' sentiment that he felt that he was at this point, it was a sham interview. But from a legal perspective, that text, right, that mistaken text sent to Flores instead of Daboll, it doesn't show that the Giants actually had picked Daboll first, right? It's Bill Belichick's interpretation, hearing it secondhand, right? Hearsay is a fancy legal term. I don't know who Belichick heard it from. But unless that text is sent from someone high up in the Giants organization, it can't really bind the Giants. So who knows what Bill Belichick heard? But we know there's rumors and rumblings all the time. Maybe they were listening, they were leaning towards Daboll. But the Giants statement I thought was really telling yesterday. And I think there's some credibility to it, at least you can believe it, that Flores was in consideration until the 11th hour. And why can we believe that? Because it's Brian Flores, right? He's just come off 2 very productive years with the Miami Dolphins. I think overachieved both years. A surprising fire, was a really hot candidate with the New England Patriots. So the fact that Daboll and Flores were being viewed on equal footing, certainly that's plausible. And I don't think a text from Bill Belichick can disprove that in the court of public opinion, and certainly not in the court of law.
Dan, Bill Belichick was a Giant for years. He's got people in the Giants organization. He's still like family there. He knew that's a done deal. He knew that Daboll was going to be hired. We all know here in Detroit, when Bob Quinn came here as the GM, he got his buddy. He got rid of Jim Caldwell after a 9-7 year and hired his buddy Matt Patricia. Same thing that happened to Joe Schoen now in New York. And it didn't work.
Very
and
bad.
The same thing's going to happen in New York.
Lots of pain.
Because if you want to pick Brian Daboll with no experience over Brian Flores with a winning attitude that he brought to the Miami Dolphins, basically was told, lose games, I'll pay you $100,000 a game, and his teams win 8-9 in a row, beat Bill Belichick a few times. That was a done deal already, Dan.
Well, okay, I'm gonna push back at you guys. I'm gonna tell you an interesting, legal expression, legal phrase. There's a difference between what you know and what you can prove in a court of law. It might be true. I would like Adam Schefter with the Brady report. I didn't really think Schefter was wrong, right? But I don't really think Bill Belichick's wrong. But it's a difference between proving that in a court of law and proving, right? This is the key part here, that this was a sham interview to really check off that Rooney Rule box. I mean, if it's a candidate, for example, like a hypothetical candidate, it's not Brian Flores. It's the backup special teams coach who doesn't do anything other than, coach the backup punter, right? Someone that has no qualifications whatsoever. That person, if they're in line for a head coaching gig, certainly you can make the argument that you're checking a box, right, at a certain point. But if it's Brian Flores, right, who's had tremendous success at the head coaching level, I think if you just looked at these kind of offshore odds, he was supposed to get a number of these jobs. And I don't know, I'm not trying to argue the Giants' position. I just see people look at that Bill Belichick text and say, that's the whole case. That's it. We don't have to see anything else. Let's close it up. There are going to be years worth of discovery. I mean, assuming the case gets to the discovery phase, which I do think there's enough there. I'll jump ahead, right? The other part of this complaint that I thought was really interesting, the lawyers actually put, right, the faces of the general managers, of the head coaches, of the owners, and they're just showing hey, NFL, there's a problem here. The picture says 1,000 words. So there's certainly a colorable argument to get into the complaint, right? We just have to look at the numbers. Certainly, there's something wrong here. If the NFL is preaching diversity, why is there not more diverse, elements in the front office? But the problem is, again, Maz, what you can prove. Brian Flores, is the plaintiff in this case in a class action lawsuit, has to show proof that these hirings and these firings were done for some discriminatory purpose, and in particular, his not getting that job, which is a tough sell. We don't know if that evidence is going to come out. And Brian Flores today on CBS this morning said he's not sure, if it's going to come out. He's not sure one way or the other, but he's hoping that it's going to bear that out in discovery. So anyone that says at this stage of the case on February 2nd that it's open and shut, they have no idea because we haven't even started the discovery phase, the investigation phase. So yeah, this is certainly just the tip of the iceberg for the case.
Talking to Dan Lust, sports attorney to the stars. You can follow him on Twitter at SportsLawLust. Dan, hiring practices aside, to me, and I could be very wrong on this, I'm interested to hear your perspective on it. I think the biggest thing to come from this lawsuit, this investigation, whatever the case, however you want to call it, is the fact that Stephen Ross offered to pay Brian Flores $100,000 per loss, essentially to tank, meaning what happens in between the lines on the field, the outcome of the games are being altered. That to me is the biggest thing. What can the NFL legally do to Stephen Ross if that is proved, where they are changing the outcome of games
with gambling,
on the field?
Especially.
My goodness, especially exactly with the NFL being in bed with the gambling casinos all over the place now.
Well, focus on the first part of what you said, and then I think it's obviously maybe, I don't know which more important, right? The NFL's dealing with two very big issues right now. But you said it, talking about the case, the investigation, this aspect of the complaint, as far as I can tell, has absolutely nothing to do with the causes of action.
Racist hiring policies, right?
It has nothing to do with it. So you want to call it gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it, but the lawyers on Brian Flores' side put this in the complaint knowing what it would do. It would create a lot more pressure on the NFL. But at the end of the day, if you're at this lawsuit, right, and you're at trial, and they come and they show this check with Stephen Ross's name and $100,000, it's made out to Brian Flores, and here's the check, right? You still don't win the racial discrimination element of that case. These are two very, very separate issues. So, yeah, I mean, we could talk about the raw stuff, but I think it was a very interesting way to insert this into the narrative, insert it into the the sports media world through the prism of the lawsuit. But from my vantage point, it has nothing to do with the case at all. Certainly there still could be, we'll say some criminal aspects of this. It could be viewed. I've seen some talk that it could be potentially a federal crime if that's established, bribing something relating to sports. I also saw a report that Stephen Ross has some equity in a sports gambling company. So this has ramifications up and down the board. And then let's from a legal perspective, right? I don't know, legal perspective, administrative perspective. Pete Rose did something, I think, pretty close to this, right? He was involving some type of financial incentive on the outcome of games. Banned from the Hall of Fame. Chicago Black Sox, banned from the Hall of Fame. Boston College point shaving scandal, right? Those guys, Arizona State, you can go through the list. We're very close to that here. It's not so different. And as far as I'm aware, this has never been accused of an owner. So we joke, will Dan Snyder lose the Washington football team? Will James Dolan and the New York Knicks, because they suck, will he lose the team? Probably not, right? But this is the type of allegation, if established, I don't know what else causes you to lose a team. This is bad. I mean, this is on a scale of 1 to 10 if established. I mean, this is at the end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Damn it. Michigan, we always have a high moral compass. This violates that. No, damn, man. Here's a good question, and this is just about the NFL. Yesterday, the NFL put out a statement as it relates to Brian Flores, his class action suit. It came out, and it came super fast. It's like they almost didn't think about it. And I'm only thinking about the very last line of it. It said, oh, here it is right here. You can see it. For those of you watching at home, you can see it. And I just care about the last line. We will defend against these claims which are without merit. How do you come out that fast and announce something is without merit, Dan?
This is what we're talking about. And Braylon, I love that you pointed that out, because we have a lot of elements to this case. We have the Stephen Ross part. We have the Brian Flores' actual legal case. And then we have, right, in the backdrop of this, the class action lawsuit, which talks about Jim Caldwell and the guys for years that, might want to join this class action lawsuit. So I don't know which part's without merit, right? Certainly, I think there's some merit to what Brian Flores is saying, that the Rooney Rule is not working, and in his words, right, it might have been well-intentioned, but it's not getting the job done, right? I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I certainly think there's merit to that argument. Whether or not Brian Flores has a claim is a different story. And then, right, the Stephen Ross part. So, Braylon, you hit the nail on the head. This was a pretty fast statement. Did you conduct an investigation in an hour and a half and solve all of those? That's amazing. I'm so impressed. But you still can't release the Gruden emails. You can't figure that part out. But yeah, you did all
there you go, Dan.
No, but it doesn't make any sense. And I use the term, and as Maz knows, I've been making my rounds tonight. I think it's just very disingenuous for the NFL. Put out a statement. I'm fine with it. I don't mind the Giants statement. I didn't mind the Denver Broncos statement. But from the NFL, right? You're supposed to be the flag bearer. You're supposed to be the kind of the one on top of all this, and sending the right messages and saying that everything that Brian Flores just said is without merit. I mean, that's at least how I'm reading it. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all.
And wait till Kaepernick's name gets brought up again, because Flores and his team are probably going to go start with there, because that's where you could start this whole fire. And on a side note, before we let you go, Dan, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Washington Commanders, who took the name from an AAFL team, Commanders, and they put a logo up. Put the logo up for me, Alex, with the years of their championships. And you see 1983 there, Dan? Well, the Oakland Raiders or the Los Angeles Raiders were the world champions that year. What the hell are they doing? 2 years for this crap?
Yeah,
that's what you're giving me?
I did not know that. That is... hold on, I missed Maz. Is this breaking news? Did you just break that here?
Yeah. 1983 is the Raiders.
Los Angeles Raiders.
Maz can name you every Super Bowl winner.
Marcus Allen was MVP. Marcus Allen was MVP.
Guys, there was a narrative last night. People were like, well, can you blame them? The helicopter flew over the stadium and they leaked the news for them. And I'm like, they blew this news for the last month. If anyone's on this website, Saga, people were registering the website half an hour before the Schefter announcement. Someone transferred Commanders.com to an NFL entity a week ago. So Redskins.
Joe Theismann? Joe Theismann?
You probably shouldn't be underestimating the internet detectives here. They're undefeated. The internet is always undefeated. We don't lose here, guys.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter at SportsLawLust. One of the greats. We certainly appreciate your time. Dan Lust, sports attorney, always weighing in here. The sports attorney to the stars, as we call him.
Dan, go after that logo right now. Go after that logo.
1983.
Got you.
It was a hell of a year. I mean, a star was born that year.
They were in the Super Bowl that year, but you lost.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. We appreciate it, my friend.
Appreciate you, buddy.
There's certainly a lot to chew on, and I'm way over for a break, so we'll do that now. We'll come back. We'll talk about more of this, and then Jim Harbaugh, top of the hour, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line, in 1983.
So great.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit. Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. Boy, do they get it. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. A good defense on and off the field that helps you feel secure. You throw that black and yellow sign out in front of your house. You know what it tells the bad guys, Braylon?
It tells them, stay the hell out.
It tells them, stay out.
Stay the
Fish
hell out
is
of
with
here.
us today.
There we go, Fish.
What's to tell them?
There we go, Fish.
Stay out. That's right.
Bunch of idiots.
That's right. That's what it tells them. Guardian Alarm convenient features let you check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke, carbon monoxide, even going to let you lock and unlock your doors. All you have to do is call this number, 1-800-STAY-OUT.
I think you could do better than that.
1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security expert.
Stay out of here, baby.
Get the hell out.
Out of here.
Stay out.
But you might want to go here, though. You might want to go to MyBookie.
By the way, that's a real thing, by the way.
That's
hey, MyBookie.ag. That's where I put my sports wagering in. Hey, I don't even have a script in front of me, okay? That's because I know MyBookie inside and out. I win some, I lose some, but I have a lot of fun doing it. And if you're a first-time sports gambler, MyBookie.ag is the place for you. Use that promo code Woodward. They will match your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. That's free money in your pocket. If you want to put $20 in, they'll give you $20 additional. So you got $40 in your bank. Go up, go down, whatever you want to do. You could bet the NBA every night. NHL All-Star Game, you could bet on that this weekend. You could bet on the skills competition in Vegas this Saturday. By the way, Alex Ovechkin, he's out with COVID. Yes, there's a COVID case in the NHL. He didn't want to play in the All-Star Game, of course. Anyway, MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please call the Michigan Gambling Problem Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Angelique Chengelis, Detroit News, coming up 15 minutes from now. We'll talk to her about Jim Harbaugh. She spoke with Will Johnson's dad, Deion Johnson, and
ran into them at the Maury a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Good
so we'll talk
nice,
to them.
Nice family.
Just want to react quickly. Excuse me.
Get a little bit of that water. React to some of those things that Dan Lutz said, because he had some great points that he brought up.
So I think this is a really important point, and I think it's important to separate. The Stephen Ross situation, and you mentioned it as well, Braylon, has nothing to do with the racist hiring policies, which is part of that lawsuit, which is the crux of that lawsuit. Why Brian Flores is putting his coaching future on the line to highlight that. This is a side note, for lack of a better way to say it, that is almost as big, if not bigger, because you don't get kicked out of the NFL for being racist.
No, you don't.
You get kicked out of the NFL
for getting caught,
for ethical problems, perhaps. Because I think this could be a situation where if you are an owner paying a coach to tank, to lose games, that goes to an integrity of the game question that I think you do have to look at potentially getting involved in pulling that ownership. I don't know the rules or the bylines of the NFL or how that works, but if you are actively trying to alter the outcome of a game as an owner in a negative way, I think that's grounds for losing your team.
Yeah, and this is going to open up a can of worms. And excuse me, let me take a step back. This already has opened up a can of worms because Hugh Jackson came out earlier today and said that he received similar type deal from the Cleveland Browns organization when he was there. I think he was, I can't remember his exact record, but it was pretty bad. He definitely said he saw some checks that were upwards of that same number to do the same thing. So if you got Hugh Jackson coming out, who's an upstanding guy, he's now coaching Grambling right now. He's years with Marvin Lewis coaching down there in Cincinnati. If he's coming out and saying, Brian Flores is now coming out and saying, and oh, by the way, Hugh Jackson says he's got tons of receipts, tons of receipts. The Hugh Jackson organization as well. He does a nonprofit. They talked about how they funded some of their nonprofit stuff. They're coming out talking about it. They're not the only ones. How many of these number one pick overalls are the result of tanking, but paid to be tanking? We're organizations, and talking about more specific, not head coaches, the owners of franchises.
You know what would be interesting to me, Braylon, to see, and Tom, if you want to weigh in on this?
I do.
It would be because Hugh Jackson said the same thing. Hugh Jackson said he was offered money.
I mean, the Lions, they went 0-16.
To lose games. Okay, so you have Brian Flores saying he was offered money to lose games.
Hugh Jackson.
You had Hugh Jackson.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Saying he was offered money to lose games. I would like to know, and I think this is going to be almost necessary.
Black coaches.
If a white coach has ever been offered money to lose games. If that's the case, then you can throw a racial element out until a white head coach says, "Oh yeah, they offered me $100,000 to lose games too in tank." Like for instance, and again, would William Clay Ford or Martha Ford ever offer? Who's my pick is sharp, my shovel is sharp?
Marinelli.
Right. Would they offer Rod Marinelli $100,000?
No, because he's still no. That guy
he could have done that without.
He wouldn't take anything.
I see where I'm going.
I see where you're going with it. It's almost a situation.
Or they only feel comfortable offering
and that's why I said I saw that's where you're going, because you look at a situation like Brian Flores and you can just tell that he was mentally beat down from the situation, and we don't know exactly what has happened from those set organizations with his interview process and his coaching process, but you can tell that he's beat down. But to your point, it's almost like if you offer the black guy who's just happy he got the job, the black guy's happy he got the job, he's his first time being a head coach, he's like, all right, well, maybe that comes with the territory. Maybe I'm supposed to tank, and maybe I do that. That is a damn good question. If it's only black people being offered this deal and that have only thus far taken this deal, it's kind of like we offer you because you're happy you got the job anyway.
Listen, if Stephen Ross, if this is proven, Stephen Ross has to give up the Miami Dolphins
to Brian Flores.
Not even.
I'm trying to get some black ownership.
That's fine. There's going to be black ownership.
I
the Rock
appreciate
is going to own a team before you know.
The Rock and Jay-Z. There you go.
And Miami. There you go.
Now remember Ballers. Remember Ballers?
It's just about
HBO Ballers. The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, was the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of that series, and he sat at that table with all those other owners, the Jerry Jones owner at the one end of the table that didn't want him on that table. And it's just remarkable that TV shows go on there. What was that series that was on ESPN? Was it Playmakers?
No.
Playmakers.
Oh, no. It was Playmakers.
Playmakers. They made them take it off.
Yeah.
It was Playmakers because they were getting too close to home.
It's too real.
When they start doing the stuff like Lawrence Taylor at halftime with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Blue chips. Go back to basketball. Blue chips. That thing is on the money. Blue chips in the early 90s. On the money. Sports and gambling. It goes hand in hand. Now, Stephen Ross is saying lose those games, and now you've got 5 casinos with the NFL, 5 bookmakers in the NFL. That can't happen. That's worse than what Pete Rose did. Worse.
So let me ask you this next question. I got to take a break, and I want to ask Braylon this. Hugh Jackson, where'd Hugh Jackson coach?
Cleveland Browns.
If you were a player for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wait a minute.
And you're out there
busting your
unknowingly, deliberately losing games, how would that make you feel?
Cheated.
Let me ask you. You work your whole life to be an NFL football player. You get to an organization that is deliberately trying to lose games. What does that say about your career and your life's work? How do you put that in perspective? Braylon, weigh in on that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Commercials, the other guys have those. You want great sports takes?
Touchdown! What a play!
Woodward Sports has those. Detroit's new sports outlet, the Woodward Sports Network.
Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where you yourself. Hey, Fish, everybody shut up and let me do Planet Fitness right now. Gosh darn it. You're going out of order, man. Hey, Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone. What's the black card, you ask? Well, if you're going past the $10 a month that Planet Fitness charges, that's all they charge. $10 a month for judgment-free. But you know what? If you want a black card at $22.99, Alex, I'll tell you about it. Members enjoy the use of amenities such as unlimited tanning, hydro massage chairs, Maz. We got to get you one of those massage chairs,
Hell
man.
yeah, man.
It'd be nice. Lower back action, little mid.
The Planet Fitness
little
chair?
lower
Come
lumbar.
on. Let's go.
I could just see you going there, just doing one of these, just rotating around in the chair.
Mama.
That would be great. Body
Just like
enhancement.
George Costanza.
Oh man! Along with over access to 2,000 gyms and locations worldwide. Join today in club or online at www.planetfitness.com. Now open in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. Right now, $0 down, $10 a month.
All right, so I'll ask a question, Braylon Edwards. If you were a player for a team, the Cleveland Browns, who also Hugh Jackson
The Clowns,
said,
you mean?
Hugh Jackson said that his owner also offered money to lose games. If you're a player and you go to that organization and you unknowingly, deliberately are trying to lose games, what do you feel?
You just feel cheated. You feel tainted. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I played for the Browns, and the Browns suck, but you just think they suck. You think there's bad coaching. You think there's bad hires. You think there's bad players. You think the players that are free agents don't want to come to Detroit. I mean, come to Cleveland. So when you're there, you just think that comes with the territory, And now years later, I'm hearing Hugh Jackson talk about. Now I didn't play under Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson was a Cleveland Browns 14, 15. He was around there, 13 and 14, I believe. So I didn't play with him, but. Still Cleveland. You still saw those things. I did have a 3-13 record one year in there. Did have a 4-12 twice in there. And you're thinking, like, was what I doing for nothing? Was it for not? Because I saw a lot of like suspect play calling, to where teams were calling our plays out, just knowing what we were doing, and we didn't seem to call plays to try to get first downs, to try to get touchdowns, and maybe we were bad, and maybe that's what it was. But the fact that I now have to think about that process sucks. The fact that I have to wonder if I wasted 3 years in Cleveland, or if athletes or players are wasting time in franchises and organizations. You hear what Brian Flores is alleging. You hear what Hugh Jackson says happened. He says he took money to do so. So to hear that, it's like, was I wasting time? Are people wasting time? Like, what does the sport come to where you tank and you pay and you don't care about players that are busting their ass? They're coming to OTAs. They're skipping, being out the country for months to enjoy off season, enjoy their life, to enjoy quality of life with the money that you have so handsomely paid them. They're stuck in Cleveland, training, busting their ass. They're coming in for mini camps. They're going through the season. All those things just for you to try to lose games so that you can go get a Baker Mayfield or a Myles Garrett or insert number one overall pick. That's effed up. That's effed up. I mean, obviously they got Baker and they got a playoff win out of it, but was it worth it?
And a Hard Knocks. Remember they were on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, one of the worst ones ever. Like, was it worth it? Is what you want to ask.
Who was sitting in the front office in that Hard Knocks that's here in Detroit now? John Dorsey.
Oh, Dorsey, yeah.
That's a smoking gun for you.
Dorsey.
Right here in Allen Park. I know we're never going to get the words out of him, and I'll tell you a team that you want to look at from last year that wanted to destroy themselves was the Houston Texans. Here's a team that they could have used Deshaun Watson all year because he was not on the commissioner's exempt list. They chose to bench him, and I'm not saying he earned the spot. That's tanking.
That's tanking.
That's tanking.
Just think about what they did to with Dan Mullen. They bring him in. Then they bench Deshaun Watson essentially because of set reports or allegations and things are going on, but they didn't have any proof, and they didn't necessarily, like you say, he was on the exempt list. They didn't have Deshaun Watson that whole year. Think about taking a job and you thinking you got one of the best young quarterbacks in the league, and then they bench him for the whole year for this going on. Then you can't have success because you have injuries and you don't have the guy that you thought that you were going to build a franchise around. Oh, and then by the way, you fire him after that season. It's heating up in the NFL, and it has nothing to do with on-field play.
And oh, by the way, they didn't trade him either, and they could have traded him several times. It's just rotten, man.
And then you go back to look how hard they played for that coach too, right? And you go back and you look at how hard the Miami Dolphins players played for that coach.
I bet you they were mad at David Culley for winning the few games that they did, for beating the Titans.
Might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been.
That's why he's out.
Love to see if he was ever offered money as well for.
That's the other
games.
thing. Going back to Brian Flores, because that's kind of what we started with. That's who we started with. Is just look at the mindset of Brian Flores in this situation. Just look at how your mindset can change and shift, and how you can get a bad rap and never get offered a job again because everybody talks. Let's say everything is true. So Stephen Ross asks you to do one thing, you don't do it. Then he asks you to go to this meeting, you don't do it. So in his mind, you're being difficult. Because he wants to run the team his way because it's his team. He owns the team. But the things he's asking you to do, they go against your moral compass. They go against what you believe to be ethical. And now you don't want to do that because of that. And now they put out there, hey, you know what? This guy is hard to deal with. He's difficult. Blah, blah, blah. Insert negative thing that you can say about a coach here. Oh, by the way, he's black. They're not getting that many jobs anyway. So now when you're walking into meetings, you're walking in not only behind the 8-ball, which was you saw what I did right there. The 8-ball is black. Not only that you're behind the 8-ball, you legitimately are now badmouth. So you're walking into it. You're so far behind the 8-ball, all because you had a moral compass, because you had a moral conscience, because you wanted to do things the right way. Like that's tough. That is beyond racism. That is a system of control, and that is a system of we can do whatever the hell we effing want. It's the world we live in, man. But that's why he's blowing this what up. It has to be changed. In order for things to change, it takes strong, brave people. Let's say everything he says is true, and let's say it comes out the way I hope it is. It takes strong, brave, courageous people, like Chris Mortensen said on ESPN. It takes strong, brave, courageous people to come out and say, you know what? I'm gonna sacrifice my career, because he still has 2 jobs on the line. He could have easily just put a pin in this. And I meant to ask Dan Lutz that. He could have put a pin in it, walked away from that and said, let me see if I get these other 2 jobs. Then I got the other 2 jobs. Then came out with this. And then people could say, oh, because you don't have the jobs anymore, now you want to come out with all this stuff. That's why it was important that he came out and did it now, why he still has 2 opportunities on the table that he's a finalist for. Because now you got to look at it and say, he could have tried to get those jobs. He may have gotten those jobs, but he chose to blow it all up before he got.
Would you hire him in Houston? Because he was there.
No.
Would you hire him right now?
Well, I'd hire him because he's a good football coach and I want to win games.
I'd hire him in a minute.
But we'll see. You know how you watch ballers. You know how these owners are. They don't like it when you bite back at one of their own.
No, they don't.
So we'll see what happens.
Wait till Kaepernick's name comes up.
In regards to that. Hey, guys, we got to get to this next guest. Angelique Chengelis, Detroit News, covers University of Michigan. The latest on Harbaugh. Who would replace Jim Harbaugh at Michigan? Is he going to get that job? Brian Flores. What do the recruits say? What are the recruits saying at the University of Michigan?
What is my nephew thinking?
What is your nephew
What is my nephew
Braylon?
thinking?
Ermanni and Edwards.
What was Sports Network? The bottom line.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac, located in the great city of Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. GM announced that all-new electric Chevy Silverado, and reservations are now open on Chevy.com. When you go there, the second step is to a dealership. What dealership do you want to get in line at? Get in line at Les Stanford Chevrolet, because they are going to have one of the largest allocations of that vehicle. Make sure, again, you get in line at Les Stanford Chevrolet. For all of your car needs, 313-565-6000, 313-565-6000, or hit them up online, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Les Stanford Chevrolet, find new roads.
LesStanford.com.
Hey, home of the #1 salesman in the world.
That's right, Ali Rita, the #1
in the world
salesman in the world for vehicles.
And the most wrong guest picker, Chevy Will.
Chevy Will. And Devin Taylor, former Lion.
Former Detroit Lion.
Devin
Devin
Taylor
works there as well, so you can pick up a car from him.
Get an autograph, too.
As well.
A little double situation.
All seems quiet on the Minnesota Vikings front right now. If you go to Twitter and just kind of check, we still have not much word regarding this long interview from Jim Harbaugh and the Minnesota Vikings. But we'll wait.
Yeah, it's a long process. Like John U. Bacon said, when you go there, man, it's pretty much boom, 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 lunch, boom, 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 and then you get through it. It's not one of those deals where you walk in, hey, a couple hours, and then shake hands, do a deal, and announce it to the world. It takes time.
All right, let's get around the line. The great Angelique Chengelis, Detroit News, Michigan writer. Angelique, we love you. How you doing, Angelique, on this snowy day?
I'm fine. I feel like I've been knee-deep in Jim Harbaugh, this and that, the drama for the last 5 weeks. So,
and here we are though. We expect it'll culminate today. We'll know one way or the other. Either he gets an offer, which we believe if he gets an offer he'll accept, or he leaves without an offer. How do you see this playing out?
I'm of the belief that he did not go to Minnesota and take a flight there without knowing he was going to be the next coach there. I just don't think, I just don't see it otherwise. I think he's very confident in this job opportunity, and I think they're confident in him. I obviously he has to go through the interview process. He prepared for it diligently earlier this week when he was in the office, and I think it is National Signing Day. Does that matter? No. I mean, I'm trying to figure out optics, and maybe they wait until tomorrow to make a final decision or an announcement. But I would think we will know in the next 24 hours.
There's looks like we have a guest in the background over there, or is that a cutout? I thought that was is that a cutout?
Roger Federer.
Oh, okay. I was like, you got somebody over your shoulder, would they like to chime in? And that's my apologies.
Hey, Angelique, what are the recruits saying about this? Because obviously there's been something going on, and I think there's been word that leaked from a lot of recruits that said, yeah, he's been honest with us and said he's exploring NFL opportunities. You had an article in the Detroit News with Deion Johnson, the father of Will Johnson, the 5-star early enrollee that Michigan got a commitment from a long time ago. And what are they saying?
Well, I mean, I did speak to Deion, and of course he said, Will said, look, Dad, what if he goes, what do we do? What do I do? How do I think about this? And I think Deion was very reasonable, saying, you just can't be hasty and be rash and make this decision emotionally. Like right now I feel upset that he's leaving. I've got to go. And he pointed to the 2014 Michigan team when Brady Hoke was fired, and they're waiting on Jim Harbaugh. And he said those players didn't bolt, and a lot of them stayed and went on and had NFL careers and were drafted very high. So his point was just wait and see. And I also spoke to C.J. Stokes, who's a running back commitment, who's coming in this summer, and he said during the whole process that coaches specifically said, do not just base this on Jim Harbaugh. There are a lot of other considerations. And he said, look, I want to go to Michigan. And he said in a group chat, he talks to all the freshmen. There's about 14 of them on campus already, early enrolled, going through winter conditioning. And he said that the sense is no panic right now, that they're just waiting to see the next step.
Yeah, I got to agree with Angelique on that. Talking to Michael Pollard, my nephew, not now. I haven't talked to him since today or this week, but I've talked to him last in December and in November. I said, why are you going to Michigan? He said, I want to go to Michigan. He said, Uncle Braylon went to Michigan. I was like, you're being too kind. He said, but also no more than that. I said, what do you mean more than that? He said, I like the way they run defense. I like the opportunities that I'll be getting, even when it was down Brown, now McDonald, similar type situations. And so he just liked the way they play defense. I want to ask you a question, Angelique. Let's say it's finalized today. Let's say he is going to the Purple People Eaters and he's out of Ann Arbor. What is Jim, how will he be remembered in Ann Arbor for his 7-year tenure? What will his legacy be? How do you frame that, just on your thoughts? Because I know you've been very close.
I mean, Braylon, I really hope people don't base this last month. I mean, it's been, if you follow the fans on message boards and Twitter, it's been a roller coaster, as this played out. And And I early this month, early January, I did a show and I said I thought 60-40 he was going to the NFL, and I got just destroyed on the message board.
They will do that.
Suggesting that, a deal's down. Everybody's saying it's done, and it wasn't done. And I always believed he had NFL aspirations again. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and Deion said that's what he told Will on Monday when they had a conversation about this. So I think people need to step back, remember the 21 season. Don't think about 2020. I think that was just an absurd season for so many.
I've X'd it out.
Right, you have to. I mean, I know other people are going to say, "Oh, but it was COVID. They had a lot of injuries. It just wasn't." And Harbaugh was not at his best either, I don't think. But I think you look, Jim Harbaugh can leave Braylon and say, "Did I find Michigan? Have I left Michigan in a better place than I found it?" Absolutely. And they've had 10-win seasons. They've had success. They did not they did not have the record they wanted against Ohio State, but he leaves with that win. They did not have the dominant record over Michigan State. Okay. But generally speaking, it's been a clean program. He's done a lot of really interesting things for the players. He brought a lot of attention to Michigan those early years with all his crazy antics, recruiting, climbing trees, sleepovers, and brought attention back to Michigan that really Michigan had lost. I mean, Michigan was sort of an afterthought, and he made people talk about Michigan again. So there's all of that to consider. Was it great? It was perfect? Absolutely not. But this last season was great.
Angelique, I told Braylon asked me that before the show. I told him Jim Harbaugh provided to me one of the top 5 sports moments in my life. Being in Ann Arbor on that wintry November day against Ohio State was something I will never forget, being in that stadium. And that's how I will remember Jim Harbaugh's time at Michigan. He got us over the top to beat Ohio State and win a Big Ten championship. And at Michigan, that's what it has always been about. We obviously have big eyes and big visions of national championships. Can Michigan compete moving forward? I don't know. I don't know. What does Michigan's future look like? Does Jim Harbaugh sit there, Angelique, and say, you know what, with NIL, Michigan's cap is a Big Ten championship. That's where the cap is. And if that's the case, does that limit who they can go get in terms of being the next head coach of the Michigan Wolverines? I don't know the answer to any of those questions. How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I think you make very good points about NIL and the transfer portal. And I know early on there were all these reports that he's demanding this and that for NIL and admissions changes. Well, it is Michigan, and they're not going to change academic standards or admissions policies for football. And, the NIL issue is what it is, and they will get there at some point. Michigan is behind. But I do think, he's 58 years old. I think this is a lot for any head coach, any age, to have to deal with all this stuff, in addition to the 105 kids, young men, that you're coaching, and that you have to be a quote-unquote father to. So not that he can't handle it. The guy's got, he's just energy. He is Energizer Bunny. But I do think that maybe last year, in a lot of ways, feels like ceiling to me. I think Ohio State's going to be Ohio State again, and they will be the dominant team in the Big Ten. But he's got Michigan in a better place, and their offense will be very good next year. Defense, I mean, we haven't mentioned Mike McDonald's gone, and a lot of those defensive starters, Aiden Hutchinson, David Ojabo, are gone. So there's a lot of rebuilding to do there. But in terms of who comes in next, I mean, if you're looking outside, I don't know what Braylon feels about this, and you, Ryan, as a Michigan alum, but I think you have to make a run at Luke Fickell, at least just get a just see would he leave? He's an Ohio State guy. Would he come to Michigan? Would he be accepted at Michigan? I don't know, but I think he's a very fine coach. And if you look inside, internally in the staff, you've got to look at Mike Hart. It would be the guy I would think, and Josh Gaddis, certainly. Those would be the contenders in my mind.
Angelique Chengelis joins us, Detroit News, Angel of the Big House. Well, you took my thunder because I was going to ask you what your top 5 guys were. And you hear Matt Campbell, you hear Matt Rule. I love Luke Fickell. I'm not ready to go to Mike Hart yet. I'm not ready to go to Josh Gaddis. I need someone with a little bit of a name here to come here to Ann Arbor. But my question will be part two. If Michigan would have knocked Jim Harbaugh's socks off with an offer, do you think he's in Minnesota today interviewing for the NFL?
That's a great question. I do, and I did not mention this earlier when we were talking about Jim and this year. I do think, I'm talking to, and I know everyone says talking to people in his inner circle. I talked to some people in December when I first started hearing a lot of smoke. I guess you can't hear smoke, but a lot of noise about Harbaugh and going to the NFL. He was hurt by the pay cut. And it was not his idea. I know that there's that narrative out there that he give me a $4 million pay cut, sure. No one does that. And I think he was fine with the incentives. The guy's a competitor. Maybe it did give him a little added boost coming into the season. But I think that was a gut punch for him. And if they had, I'm not sure. I think he made a point by saying what he said before the Orange Bowl, that it's not about the money. He would do this for free. I think in a perfect world and money didn't matter, he would do it for free. But he knows what the marketplace holds. If Michigan had come to him with a Mel Tucker deal, I know that's not important to him, but I bet it would have swayed him a little bit. But I do think the NFL draw was just too strong, and this was the right time. The stars aligned.
Quick question, Angelique. I know there's no such thing as a quick question, but quick question, Angelique. If Jim comes back, or if Jim would have come back this year, it would have been interesting to see what he would have done with Cade McNamara as well as J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, everybody wants J.J. moving forward, but we know Jim's a loyalist. Now that let's just assume he's gone. Insert next coach here. Let's say it's even a Michigan guy. Let's say it's Gattis. Let's say it's Mike Hart. Does Cade McNamara now transfer? Because we pretty much know that J.J. is going to be the guy or should be the guy. Does Cade transfer or does he stay?
I think Cade McNamara is a competitor, just like Jim Harbaugh is, and I, assuming Jim's gone, it doesn't take away that fight in McNamara. I think that he at least gives spring ball a chance and see where this competition goes. And this is such an issue now. I think with the transfer portal is how do teams keep a solid backup, whether it's Cade or JJ? How do you keep them satisfied? Because the backup quarterback always wants to be the starter. So I think that's always going to be a concern now for teams to keep that experience behind the starter, because they're going to jump in the portal and I can go start somewhere else. So I think it would be hasty for Cade, since you mentioned Cade, to do that, because the way JJ plays, and he needs to learn how to slide, right? I think everybody determined that after the Red Bull game. That, you are one play away. I mean, that's a cliche, but it is true. So, I don't know. I mean, did Tom Brady if Tom Brady had transferred, would he be Tom Brady?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I think having Cade McNamara there, it keeps JJ on his toes, and it keeps both of those guys on his toes. You gotta have an antagonist. No matter what position you play, you gotta have somebody where you can hear footsteps at all times that makes you want to get better. So I appreciate that point.
Hey, Angelique, I wanted to ask you, because you raised Maz loves Luke Fickell. I didn't even consider Luke Fickell until I heard the name, and I'd walk to Cincinnati myself and escort him to Ann Arbor if he wanted.
In this weather.
In this weather, I would do that if Luke Fickell wanted to come to Ann Arbor. So that would be great. But my question is, has the University of Michigan learned anything about how they dealt with Rich Rodriguez, never really given him a chance, basically taking an outsider? You hear Matt Rule's name. I don't know if that's a name or not, but you read it. Luke Fickell's name, because the easy thing to do at Michigan would be to hire Mike Hart or hire Josh Gattis, just elevate one of their own guys, which I guess I'd be totally fine with too. It's a young man's game. Those are two young men. I'd be totally fine with that as well. But has the university learned anything from running guys like Rich Rodriguez off and not even giving them a chance?
Well, I mean, that goes for and Braylon can speak to this, to the football alums, the former players. I mean, you saw division and fractions in this, in the alumni base of the players during the Rich Rod era. There were the Bo's boys, Lloyd's boys,
Les
then
Miles
the guys,
boys.
the Rich Rod guys, right, Braylon? I mean,
yeah.
So, to me, and Brady Hoke sort of, even though he didn't go to Michigan, he had that Michigan man feel to him. He was on the '97 team on the staff. But do you go with the Michigan man? Because I have heard Rule's name quite a bit the last few weeks. He's a Penn State guy. Bill O'Brien, another name that pops up. He has Penn State, obviously, obvious ties there. Are you ready to break out from the Michigan mold, or do you look at Harold Goodwin? There are options, but I think it's really about are the players, the former players, going to embrace the hire? I think that's a big thing.
I think the big thing is, you're right. There was a lot of that when Rich Rod came in, but it just felt like, not only because I think a lot of guys wanted Les Miles, that deal got vetoed. He didn't get in. They bring in Rich Rod in the 25th hour.
There you go. Les is finally getting the job. Les Miles, hire him, baby. This is the time. He's finally getting the job.
It's the time. No, but I think with Rich Rod, everybody was kind of like, what? And then it was, all right, well, we'll see. And then immediately came in and tried to change the tradition and change the stuff he took. I think that's when the alumni is we were already kind of like, okay, and we'll see. And I had met a couple of guys. I was on the sideline at the Capital One Bowl, Lloyd's last game. Man, the first game, Mike fumbled. I was pissed at Mike on that. But, I was at that game, and I met Rich, and it just wasn't necessarily a warm feeling when I met him and his staff. They were on the sideline that whole game. And then once he started taking away the traditions and he remodeled and in Schembechler, that's when it got a little hectic, and all the alums was like, man, get this guy the hell out of here. But you're right, though. You do have to give someone a chance. But I think he's got to take a page out of Brady's book. Brady's guy was on the staff when I was there. He was there in 01, 02. He came in and he brought all the alums. He learned from Rich Rod. He brought all the alums in the spring ball. You got to do something like that if you're Matt Rule. If you come in as Luke Fickell, you got to do something in the immediate. Get the alumni on your back right away. Get the alumni players. Get them on your back. Say what you want to do. Get the message out there, and then I think we'll give you a chance. All right, cool. We'll give you a chance and roll from there.
Angelique, you got any parting thoughts for us? Words of wisdom for the many Michigan diehards that are watching us on YouTube right now. Any parting thoughts for us?
Well, I mean, I do think, as I said earlier, I hope people can step back and not blame Jim Harbaugh, not blame Ward Manuel. I mean, I think there was a lot at play here, and I do think that Ward Manuel has to act quickly. I mean, spring practice is starting soon, by the end of the month, probably. That was the early target. I just don't think Ward Manuel's been sitting around. He certainly knows that Jim Harbaugh was interested in going to the NFL, so he's got a list. I mean, athletic directors always have a list of candidates that they would like to hit first, and to find out, gauge their interest. So he is not unprepared, and I think it's going to be really fascinating to watch these next couple weeks, because I think that's all. I can't imagine it going beyond that. I mean, time is of the essence. So, but I think, chill out and, wish Jim Harbaugh well and wish the new coach well, because that's the only way this is going to work.
And I think that's where we are too. I mean, I absolutely think nothing but fond thoughts for Jim Harbaugh, and he came to Michigan at a very tumultuous time, and they're a lot better as he's leaving than when he came. A win over Ohio State and a Big Ten championship, I'll take it. Angelique, thanks so much. We will chat with you again soon. I'm sure we'll check in with you down the road here very shortly.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the coaching search.
Hey, Angelique, maybe I can be honorary team captain now.
So good. Good luck, Brad.
It was a good one.
We'll see.
Angelique, drop some Spadakopita here when you get a minute.
All right, Angelique Chengelis. Check her out. Detroit News on Twitter at Chengelis, Chengelis. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Vikes. Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
It's Maz for the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Home of Folding. What is Folding? Well, it is the bowling and football game. Throwing at football at bowling pins with yourself, your friends, your family, any way you want to do it. That's the deal. And don't forget our great host there and the inventor of that game of folding, Chris and Noni Hutt. Make sure you tell them the Woodward Sports people sent you, and they will take great care of you. A couple of ways to play. You can host your carpet party, team building event. You got $10 unlimited open play, and you have a private lane reservation. It's up to you. They have over 100 beers, that $2 mystery beer machine, multiple full bars, and the best yet, you can bring your own food in or have a picnic there or have it delivered. Any way you want to do it, you can do it at Folding Warehouse. Come have a picnic there?
What
did I say?
I thought you said something else.
Nothing.
Okay.
Not during a sponsored read.
Come get your fold on at the Folding Warehouse, foldingwarehouse.com.
We got some more board material in the back.
Right. Hey, you know, just getting back to this Michigan thing, maybe that is the capper. This season, maybe that is the capper. How do you feel? I guess, how does that make you feel as a Michigan guy? That beating Ohio State once every blue moon and winning
7 years,
winning a Big Ten championship once every blue moon
7 years, 20 years
is the cap. That feels like the new ceiling for the University of Michigan football team. Now, I say new ceiling. Maybe that always was the ceiling. In 1997 was just some aberration that had a collection of the world's aligning with great players, all-time greats. You had an entire roster full of NFL players that competed. Look and see how many NFL players that team in '97 had.
I won back-to-back. I won back-to-back Big Ten titles in 2003, 4. They won in 2000. We won 3, 4. Big Ten. They won in 2000 and 99 before I got there. So the Big Ten championship was at least within grabs every other year.
Right.
And sometimes probably back-to-back because they went back-to-back, off 1, off 2, back-to-back. Before that, the national championship. Then they won. They lost 98. They won 99. They won 2000. So Big Ten championship and 10 wins was right there. It was at the precipice. And I actually wrote that down. Michigan's cap is Big Ten champs. Like, I think that could be that's what we were. And then what Jim Harbaugh did when he came in, he kind of shed a light on it. He's kind of highlighted the fact that what you just said, it's like, all right, beat Ohio State once, maybe win 10 wins here, but in those 10 wins, not going to be against the top tier opponent. It's not going to be against Ohio State. Not going to be a Big Ten champ. So that's why I'm saying he's left the program in a better space than he's got there. But at the same time, within 1 year, within this year, they can be right back. They can be right back to a situation where they're third in the East or the second in the East. Because the Big Ten is not going to be any easier this year that he's gone. It's not going to be any easier with Mel Tucker coming. It's not going to be any easier with Ryan Day on Ohio State. And they're pissed off at what happened last year. Penn State just repaid their coach, and he had an off year. So, they're looking at him bad. It's not going to get any easier now that he's gone, assuming he's gone. So, if this year coming up, Michigan finishes 8-5, Michigan finishes 9-4. You have 2 years of that. Then it's like, did he really leave the program in better position than he found it?
I think so.
Brady Hoke had 1 win against Ohio State in 4 years. He had a win in the Sugar Bowl his very first year, which was 11 wins.
He didn't wear a headset. I'm only joking.
No, nobody had a problem with that until they didn't like him anymore, and then the Shane play happened.
Of course,
the Shane Morris play happened. I was on the sideline for that game. Me and Jeff were standing next to each other. That's why they changed the sideline pass. That's a whole other story. But yeah, did he really leave it in better? That's why I asked the question. It's a conversation, not me jumping or attacking him. It's just interesting.
Listen, I watched Colin Cowherd before our show, and he talked about Harbaugh. Here's what he had to say. Coaches like Brian Kelly and Jim Harbaugh, smart guys. Brian Kelly knew I can only go so far with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame, and we have all these high accolades to get just to get into that school, to keep your grades up, to do things. So you need a special kid to go there and have a perfect storm, like you said, in '97 with the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan has the same type of opportunities. They're not going to just take anybody. That's what happened with Rich Rod. That's why he couldn't bring his guys in, his kids in, his coaches in. They couldn't do what they wanted. So what did Brian Kelly do? If you can't beat him, you join him. He goes to LSU, the SEC. He's got NFL talent now. Notre Dame doesn't have NFL talent falling off the branches. Michigan, they've got NFL talent. They've been great over the years, but not Ohio State.
Not at every position.
Right. Not Ohio State. Not Alabama. Not Oklahoma. Not you know what I mean. USC. Wait till we talk about USC.
Right.
So Jim Harbaugh had two ideas. I mean, two options: get the hell out of Michigan and go to the SEC, or get the hell out of here and go to the NFL, where you've already been to 3 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. Those are the choices that those guys had. And they made the decision to get out of Denver.
One thing, just quick, my bad. Right?
Yeah, you're good.
The one thing I will say that he did do, and he did bring to the University of Michigan this past year, which will last for a while if they choose to stay, he brought coaches that can coach. He brought coaches that can develop young talent. I think that was one of the biggest knocks, rightfully so, is in his first 6 years here, the talent didn't develop. Like you look at a guy like Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary was the #1 player in the country coming in the University of Michigan. He didn't develop in Michigan. Rashawn Gary was the same player his junior year that he was the end of his freshman year. His sophomore year, same player. Jabril didn't advance. Jabril was just a supremely athletic and talented guy that they played at every position. He didn't play any position particularly great, with the exception of punt returner. He didn't play anything great. Nobody got better. Last year, you saw players develop from the time the season started to the time the season was over. That's something I'll give him credit for, and I hope that lasts. That's Mike Hart. That's Clinksdale. That's Ron Bellamy. That's, insert coach here that he brought in last year. That's the one thing I will give him credit for last year that may last the test of time. The development of young talent. That's what was good last year.
You can win. I'm curious to see what University of Michigan does here with their next coaching hire because, if you're Matt Campbell,
yeah,
you can go unbeaten at Iowa State and make it to a college football playoff now. To be honest with you, it might be easier to make it to a college football playoff at Iowa State than at the University of Michigan.
They don't have to jump Ohio State.
No, you don't.
Have to jump Penn State.
You don't have to jump Michigan State.
You got to beat Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma's out.
They're leaving.
They're
that's
leaving.
Right. They're going to SEC.
Texas is leaving.
Texas, yeah.
So
you can own that division.
You absolutely could, and you can own that region of the country, actually, and you can have a year like Cincinnati. So I don't think that this Michigan job, it's Michigan, just anybody will come here. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that you that you run to Ann Arbor like you might have 20, 30 years ago. I don't think that's the job anymore.
You want to know what the job is? It's taken now by Lincoln Riley. USC is the job. Guess what?
Texas is the job.
Forget Texas.
No, what do you mean forget Texas?
USC is going to own the Pac-12. They're going to make the playoff next year. Caleb Williams transferring from Oklahoma to USC, Lincoln Riley and that kid, I'm telling you, man, mark my words, USC is back.
But I'm just talking about top college jobs.
USC.
I'm just saying there's 3 spots taken in the playoff next year already.
USC,
Georgia, Alabama. There's 1 spot left. Ohio State will probably get it.
Yeah, so going to USC, as soon as Lincoln Riley announced that he was going there and then Caleb announced that he wasn't going there, I said this a long time ago, that Caleb Williams was going nowhere else but USC.
I told you.
Jackson Dart, I'm trying to work on not saying that anymore. I'm trying to work on not saying that. But Jackson Dart, who's a high pick, he leaves, the other quarterback leaves. I know he's going there. I just want to say something funny. We talked earlier with Dan Luss. He talked about the internet is undefeated in terms of internet investigation. Caleb Williams got investigated on by the sorority girls. The sorority girls put out Caleb Williams going to, I want to say, USC about last week. It was like last week because they started following him, like the USC
they broke
girls.
that news.
The USC girls started following him on Instagram. They started liking a lot of his pictures. They started posting stuff. And then one of the girls from, Oklahoma sorority said, you taking your foot fetish to USC? This was last week.
Mama.
So internet investigation is undefeated.
By the way, best cheerleaders of all time, USC.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Guys, we got to take a break.
That's why we lost in Rose Bowl.
I'm way over. I got to get back on time here. So we'll take a break, come right back. If you want to talk about Harbaugh, you want to talk about Michigan, who's next.
Commanders.
We can also talk about.
Let's show the uniforms.
the Washington Commanders, we could do that. Also, we've got a football team that's coaching in Mobile, Alabama. We have some cuts there we could play as well. We got a lot. Big show. Lots to get to. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Here at Woodward Sports, we're always up for a good cause and a good time. This year, we present the 2022 Cupid Sunday Run. Yeah, you heard right. Time to get in our underwear and run the streets of Detroit. For the last 12 years, we've stripped down, ran in the cold, and partied to raise money to help fund research to end NF. February 12th, join the staff from Woodward Sports and hundreds of other beautiful people downtown at the Tin Roof. You can register as an individual or your team today at woodwardsports.com. So start doing those squats, sit-ups, or just some 12-ounce curls. And get ready for Cupid Sunday Run 2022. Sponsored by the awesome people at Gypsy Vodka, Cintron, and Planet Fitness. We'll see you February 12th at the Tin Roof. In our underwear.
SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. I am one of those athletes. I've been working with SMA now for 5 years, and the work that they have done, Sean, Jordan, Lee, it's amazing work, man. I love going to the different clinics, different facilities, different impact luncheons, whether it's the Oakland Health Community Network, whether it's the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. Love working with them. The work that they do is invaluable to the community. To help the NFL alumni, we have been taking and saving lives. We've been saving lives and taking stands against these issues. Soon coming to the Woodward Sports Network, it is the F word. This is the F word. The F word is fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to sportsma.com. Once again, that is thesportsma.com.
Maz, what'd you do yesterday?
Last night, just chilling out, flipping channels, watching. I watched a couple of playoff games again. Rewatched the AFC Championship.
You looked at the tape again.
I had to look. I had to go back and look and see what was going on. NFC Championship. I had to see for sure how the Rams closed that game out.
Didn't want to miss anything.
Didn't want to miss anything. So I stumble on. I don't stumble on. It's always on my TV.
Not
the
like
NFL Network.
last week.
NFL Network is in Mobile, Alabama.
What's your favorite channel, TBS or
NFL Network?
NFL Network.
That's my favorite.
I say TBS because don't they have the Seinfeld?
They do. They do.
And baseball.
But now that Comedy Network has it. Now.
Oh,
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central.
Look at that.
And of course Netflix.
They are a comedy
It's
network.
everywhere. It's
Very
everywhere.
funny.
So anyway, I'm on NFL Network. I see him at Mobile, Alabama, and I see that they're showing the practices at the Senior Bowl. The East team, the American team, which is the Lions coaching, and the national team, the Jets are coaching. And you see the Lion coaches out there working with these players. It's great to watch. Stick made fun of me. Stick made fun of me. He's like, Matt, you're watching that, and you made fun of me for watching G League basketball and
I watched
Summer
G
League
League basketball. Actually, I was watching Derek
sorry.
Walton.
You can't compare it.
Well, I want to watch D Walt.
I know, but I want to watch the seniors that are coming up. I want to see who's going to be on my Lions. So anyway, you see everybody there, and Brad Holmes is there. Deuce Staley is coaching the team. So you come up to Malik Willis, the guy that you called like week one of the NCAA
I'm back
season.
on him, you know.
Week one from Liberty. And Brad Holmes went out and he said, this kid, Malik Willis, I got a lot of respect for him. He's gone through a lot of adversity. He had to switch schools just to show his prowess. So Malik Willis gets on the mic and, we'll let you listen to it. But the kid, he's a smooth-talking kid.
Not really. I mean, I'm just happy to be here, to be honest. I'm not even worried about all that other stuff. I try not to overthink a lot of things because, I mean, life's hard enough as it is, and everybody's going to go through adversity, so I try not to put that as my forefront. Oh, I've been through adversity. It's people that have been through worse stuff than me. I'm just happy to be where I am, and I'm happy my adversity helped me grow as a person. So more than anything, I'm just blessed to be here.
Pick 31, pick 32. That's what the Lions are going to have, whatever the Rams do in the Super Bowl.
I think Mel Kiper, I believe, has him being the first quarterback taken.
Yeah, but then you go to other ones, and he's like the last quarterback taken. They're all mock drafts. We can say whatever the hell we want here. Who's picking who? I think there will be a quarterback left. And they talk about Kenny Pickett. And Kenny Pickett, guess what they say?
He's sliding.
Oh, he's sliding. Guess why?
Why? Small hands.
Small hands.
You know who else has small hands?
He's doing the hand exercises. Jared Goff did the hand exercises when he was drafted number 1. This kid is doing it as well. Now, today, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator for the Lions in New Orleans, interviewing for that job. And Dan Campbell, put up that text from Dan Campbell, Alex. Dan Campbell's a little nervous.
Yep. Here's the quote from Dan Campbell. He'd be a great fit. And that's why I'm nervous, Campbell told a small group of reporters on Tuesday night. He'd be a great fit, and honestly, AG would be a great fit for just about anybody. That's how much I think of him and know where he's going. So I'll know that's real. That's out there.
Hey, Dave Burkett was out there, Corey Woods, the rest of the Lions brass was out there, Lions beat reporters, and they asked Aaron Glenn about that possibility of him leaving.
Right? I guess will they be working under you in Detroit, or what's the?
Whenever my time comes, it comes. You know, I think we all know that. You know, at some point in my career, that's what I want to do. But I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. You know, I want to be the best D coordinator Detroit Lions have ever had. You know, so I look forward to that day when I become a head coach. The interviews are coming around, and man, I'm enjoying those things. They are fun to get a chance to talk some ball and more or less get a chance to talk about the big picture, right, which is a cool thing to do.
How meaningful is tomorrow's opportunity for you, an organization you spent some time with for several years?
To me, just getting a chance to be able to express myself on how to be a head coach is more important than anything. Regardless who the organization is, just for those guys to pick me out as a guy that they feel like can run the organization, I mean, that's an enjoyment in itself. So I try to prepare the best I can. I'm going to put my best foot forward, and if I win the job, I'll win the job. If I don't, I get ready for the next opportunity.
Hey, Senior Bowl coming up on Saturday, by the way, if you want to watch that in the afternoon.
I do.
3:30
I do want to watch
Network.
that. I do want to watch that.
Looking forward to it.
I will tell you this much about Aaron Glenn. He might already be the best defensive coordinator the Lions have already had. You took probably the worst unit ever in football last year in 2020. You made them worse in 2021, and he held that group. He had 6 games where he held teams to under 20 points. How do you do that? You're a great coach, and I hope he gets an opportunity. And selfishly, I hope it's not this year or next. Give me 2 more years with this guy.
I'm with you.
No, he was a great pro, consummate pro. He was a really good coach last year. Got the guys to play for him, especially down the stretch. He's not the best yet, though.
Right.
You can't win 3 games and call it the best.
He's not ripe yet, as John U. Bacon was saying.
There you go.
Right.
That was a good take, too.
It was.
All right, gang. Ermanni and Edwards. We'll be right back.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, don't I look handsome and clean today? Ooh-wee!
Ooh-wee.
Don't I look like a king today?
Look, lathering yourself up a little bit. A little lather
that's
situation.
Because I had a 1 o'clock appointment earlier today with my girl Becca. Ooh, that's right. All you got to do, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, you walk in anytime. This place is wicked awesome. You walk in that door, you sign in, you sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean and looking like...
That's a pretty easy process, man.
Oh, sweet. That's right. Lady Jane's several locations throughout Metro Detroit, several locations throughout our country. So no matter where you're listening to us, no matter where you're watching us, there is a Lady Jane's nearest you. Look us up online, ladyjanes.com. Also, anywhere. We are wicked freaking awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Find new hair.
Are you talking? Was that a shot at Mark Davies?
That was a fine dude. Yeah, I could
Were
have
you
been.
taking a shot at Mark Davies?
Yeah, I kind of mixed that in with the Chevy.
You're looking good, Maz, by the way,
Thank you.
today.
Got my hair done yesterday here, ladies.
Did you get your hair did?
I did. My hair's all
This was haircut day. This was haircut day.
I trimmed my beard a little too much, though. I don't have much left.
Hey, can I give a little love to Fish? It's Fish Wednesdays.
Fish in the
Stick
tank.
Wednesday.
It's Fish Wednesdays. We got Fish here. Fish, how you doing, buddy, man?
Doing great.
Yeah,
it's Wednesday, snow outside. Not too happy about that, but
not too shabby.
Other than that, great day.
Hey.
Big games today. 3 incredibly massive games. So
What are they, Fish?
Well,
They better be massive too.
Well, they're all soccer related.
I like soccer. You know I like soccer.
Oh, who's Fuentes playing today?
Is it the World Cup?
We do have a big U.S. game. They're playing Honduras.
Let me know when it's the World
to
Cup.
win. They have to win. Big game in Minnesota. No, I am not going to Minnesota, although I'd love to.
Jim Harbaugh's there.
I should go with Jim
Good
Harbaugh.
call. Good call. Speaking of soccer, that's what the Commanders logo looks like. It looks like a soccer league logo.
It's terrible.
Looks like one of those
Speaking of which,
Premier League.
throw that up there again, Maz. Are you absolutely sure that this was not doctored in any way?
No.
The Washington Commanders.
Let me explain.
Are you sure it's not division championships?
Now they have the years of their championships up there, and they got 83.
No,
okay?
you know what?
Are you sure it's not division?
Nah, don't the Washington don't they have 3 Super Bowls?
I thought,
Yeah, that's what
But
the
they have a
3. That's what the
championship.
3 stars are for.
Okay.
And I think those are division or conference wins underneath.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know. They did win the Super Bowl, but they won the 83 Super Bowl, but that's the 82 season. The Raiders won the 83 season. So I don't know how they put their
So
years up.
technically, it's supposed to say 82.
Yes.
Yeah, it should
Put the
say
helmet
82.
up. The helmet's just got the W on it. I'm going to make this official. It is the second worst helmet in the NFL behind who?
The Lions.
The Cleveland Browns.
I was about to say not the Lions.
I don't
Cleveland
like the
Browns.
Lions
Why don't
helmet.
you like the
You
Browns
said this.
one?
How do you not like the Leaping Lion?
I don't like the Leaping Lion. I think the Leaping Lion is freaking soft.
He's awesome.
I think that
If they didn't put so many lines
Get
around
rid
him
of
and
that.
everything.
No,
Get
you know
rid
what
of that
it.
emblem.
You know what it is. I tell you what it is. From an outside innocent bystander or non-bias, how you ever say non-bystander. You just know the Lions have sucked for so long,
Yeah.
and that helmet has been a part of that sucking. So
Just
that's what
like
it is.
look,
If the Lions have been winning the last 10 years, you will love the helmet.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The
Take
Lions
that.
need to change their whole situation.
Yeah.
They need to change their color scheme. They need to get rid of that silly Leaping Lion with all of the friggin' little lines on there and all this definition.
Well, they made him tougher a few years ago. He used to just be, chill.
Yeah,
Then
he
they made
used to
him
be
tougher.
floating through the air.
Right,
Can
then
you
they made
show
him
it to us,
tougher.
Maz?
No, it doesn't
No.
matter. The Leaping Lion.
I think that logo that you like, the floating through the air line, is much better.
He is. Plus the lion that walks through the 2 bars.
This is
That's a good one.
This
The lion
gray
that walks through 2
helmet
bars.
with the blue lion
Is he 21?
is the ugliest helmet in the National Football League.
But listen, the Commanders.
How about a white helmet?
They went with the
Or a
Commanders.
blue
How about a
helmet.
black helmet?
Or a black helmet.
That was a joke.
No, oh yeah, I get it. But I like a black helmet. Go ahead, Maz.
Nothing. I'm good.
No,
I'm
go
just
ahead,
talking-
Commanders.
I'm
I'm
talking about the
sorry.
Commanders.
Go.
Listen, the Commanders jersey is horrible. They have Commanders written across on top of the number.
I hate that.
And it's a huge font. It's ugly. It looks like a USFL jersey. And I love the USFL,
Yeah, there we
but
go.
it looks cheap.
Go Panthers.
The numbers are skinny, and the color scheme looks like if you look at the Arizona Diamondbacks colors and this jersey, it's almost identical. The color scheme and the way the numbers are.
Arizona Diamondbacks?
Yes. Look at it. I'm telling you. I wish I had the side-by-side picture.
Yeah. I know what he's talking about.
It's just not. It's not a good look. They took.
It's like the
They
Arizona
Looks like
State.
Arizona State.
Bro, they took 2 years for
Devils.
this. 2 years.
You're a uniform guy.
It's that drip, man.
You're a
It's that
uniform
drip,
guy.
man.
Hey, I always hated Washington anyway, so I don't give a damn. But still,
It's better than football team.
it's a
Hey,
sin.
and by the way, while we're on the helmets, can the New York Football Giants go back to the
Yes.
script Giants?
Yeah.
From the 80s.
Not script, but the
the
just
giant block across.
They wear it every blue moon because I want to say
Yeah.
they wear
Once a
they
year.
wear it when they wear the all whites.
Once a year.
When they wear the all
that little
whites.
Once a
limp NY, lowercase NY,
You like the NY?
looks like a little limp. you know,
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
little limp.
She won't say that.
Little
but-
limp. You know, I mean, come on.
Don't
but everyone
disparage.
knows
Don't disparage the NY. The NY was classic back in the 50s and the 60s into the 70s.
Well, it
then
looks
they
a little
changed
limp
it.
in the 20s.
When Parcells came, they put the block
I don't think
Giants
she's
on
going
there.
for limp.
And I wouldn't mind going back to that. And the Jets, their logo now
Well,
is
it's
pathetic.
ridiculous.
It's pathetic. Go
It's
back
just-
to the old Sack Exchange Jets. Remember that one,
Yeah,
Braylon?
I didn't get a chance to play in that
that was
one.
a great helmet.
I did get to play in that Titans jersey though, like the Jets Titans jersey, like the maize and blue.
Yep, that was they were the New York Titans.
Made
in
me
the
feel like
AFL.
I was at home for a second, and then
There
it
you
came
go.
back with green and white next week.
Yeah, this is all
So that's it on
ridiculous.
Uniform Watch for
All
today.
right. What do you got on Maz's videos of the day? Oh, wait. We'll get to that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hey, where's Commanders? I got a Commanders colors, huh?
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
That stuff of dreams. Talking about gluten-free, Michigan's own Gypsy Vodka. Adam and Mike, we appreciate this one because it is damn good. On a day like today where it's cold outside, it's raining, it's snowing, it's all types of ugly, you're going to go home, get by the fireplace, turn the movie on. Why not have a little sip of Gypsy Vodka while you're relaxing, watching some Netflix? It's Wednesday. Fish told you about the great soccer matches coming on tonight. Get you a little bit of Senior Bowl preview. Check some of that stuff out with some Gypsy Vodka. Maybe add a little cinch around in the mix of that thing. Tell you why you want Gypsy, though. Corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. It is smooth as silk. Also, the bottle is nice, man. Where's the bottle?
Ooh.
Tomorrow I have a bottle for you guys, man. Show you how dope the design is, the artistry that went into designing the bottle. This stuff is good. Go into your local neighborhood liquor store and ask for Gypsy Vodka. Ask by name. Tell them Braylon sent you. They might give you a discount. If they don't, hey, it was worth a shot. If you're going to drink, make sure you drink responsibly, especially on days like today and tomorrow. Make sure you drink responsibly. Drink responsibly.
And we have no new Jim Harbaugh news to pass along. We are all waiting for this offer to be extended and signed.
I'm just waiting till he said it doesn't go through.
Well,
and he's coming back to Ann Arbor. That's going to be fun.
Look, anytime you have a situation, Jim Harbaugh is not getting on that plane today, heading to Minneapolis, if he's not doing so with the intent of signing a contract today and getting offered that job.
But at the same time, it's all about the interview process. One of the big things talked about in the interview process, what we talked about is he modern enough to change with the game? Will his interview go right? Will he be able to talk about running people into the ground? And when you say running people into the ground, that is not just the players. That is coaches as well. That is people inside the facilities. So that has to come off well when you're doing the interview. Because somebody can like you and you go in there and do that interview and they're like, he's 59. He's still kind of an old school bowl coach. Now we're good. So it can go like that.
Very true.
It can go like that.
Very true.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure I anticipate that to happen, but it absolutely is a possibility. So we'll get to Tom's videos of the day. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Braylon a question. Patty P wanted to ask about Tyrone Wheatley. Would he ever come back?
T-Wheat? I think so. I think so. On the right, it wouldn't be for anything less than offensive coordinator. And obviously, it might not even be for anything less than head coaching job. Same because he was here before. But under different circumstances, I think he comes back. Like when you're home is Ann Arbor for T-Wheat. T-Wheat's number 6. T-Wheat's from Inkster High. I think he could come back. I think there's always the door is open for a guy like Tyrone Wheatley.
Little trivia question.
Yeah.
When I got moved up to varsity football as a freshman.
First game.
Do you know what number I chose to wear?
6.
6.
T-Wheat.
Tyrone Wheatley.
I
loved Tyrone Wheatley back in the day.
You never came out of the game. Just like
Never
him.
came out of it. And then I went back to my number 35 when I was. But anyway,
And what was 35
Christian
represent for
Okoye.
you? Oh, really?
Nigerian nightmare.
Loved him.
Did he thank Barry Sanders for sitting out and giving him the championship, the Russian championship?
Love Christian Okoye. And nobody was 35 at that time.
Hey, Barry, you need 3 yards and you have a whole quarter to do it. You want to? Nah, I'm good.
That's why you got a little bit.
Nah, I'm good. Hey, by the way, according to Ian Rappaport, according to Fanatics U, at Fanatics, not Fanatics U, since launching the Commander's name, they are the top-selling team overall across all sports on Fanatics. The Terry McLaurin and Chase Young burgundy jerseys are both in the top 5 ahead of Tom Brady.
No doubt.
So maybe those uniforms aren't as ugly as you think. We got to get you one in person.
No, they're ugly, but there's some Washington fans out there.
This is true.
They are ugly.
This is true. You sleeping on that drip, though.
Speaking of Brady, earlier in the week, obviously Sunday, is when everything broke. Or was it Saturday about Tom Brady? When did Schefter break the news?
I want to say Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday.
And they wouldn't back off of it. Adam Schefter says, look, he's going to retire. And then, of course, Don Yee says he's not retiring. Tom Brady Sr. said, you're jumping the gun. Well, Frank Caliendo, here he is as Adam Schefter.
According to my sources, at this particular time, it appears I told you so. According to my sources, at this particular time, it appears I told you so. According to my...
Pretty darn good.
Told you.
I told you. Keep it on the Brady side of things. And Tom Brady on Instagram walked away, said, that's it, I'm done. Didn't write anything to New England. By the way, New England is going to have a one-day contract ready for him, and they will have something ready for him.
I don't know about that. Well, I saw that too. I don't believe that's reputable.
Okay.
I don't believe that's reputable. I saw that, and I think Nate Burleson even poo-pooed that this morning.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
Well, we'll follow up on that.
We'll follow up on that.
But Eli Manning wanted to, of course, remember last week, Eli Manning gave Ben Roethlisberger a goodbye. Well, he wanted to say goodbye to Tom Brady as well.
Hey, Tom, just want to congratulate you on a unbelievable NFL career. 22 years, 7 Super Bowls, multiple MVPs. I mean, really no one did it better than you during your time. And so it was an honor, privilege just to watch you compete, watch you play, and to do it at such a high level for so long. In your 22nd year, you were playing as good as you ever were. So, just unbelievable I watched you win a Super Bowl. When I was in college, I got to watch you win a few while I was in the NFL, and I saw you win one when I was retired. That's a pretty impressive career right there. So good luck in retirement. Congratulations on an unbelievable career, and appreciate your generosity and at least sharing a few of those Super Bowls with me. All the best, pal.
Oh, his middle name is Kryptonite, by the way.
Doesn't it always?
That was a little payback.
Doesn't it always even out though too? Yeah. Because the Manningham catch, the Tyree catch, and then Wes Welker dropped a ball as well, like right through his hands.
And Edelman caught one off the ground against Atlanta.
Yeah, Edelman caught one.
Without that, they don't win that
Exactly.
game.
They don't win that game. And then Welker dropped the ball. It would have been a first down. They could have closed the game out.
I forgot there was someone that could intercept the ball, too.
Yeah.
Asante Samuel on the sideline.
But you know what? The Giants still won both those.
The thing that's so great about that is that was payback for when Eli retired. Tom said a little something. He said, "Hey, great career, appreciate you, Eli. Man, you're a hell of a player, first ballot Hall of Famer." He said, "Wish you didn't win any Super Bowls though."
Yeah, right.
I mean, he would have
had 2 more. It's all in good fun.
Think about that: 10 Super Bowl appearances, and what did he actually play? Like 20? Well, because he had the ACL, right? I mean,
21. 20,
it's just
20 seasons.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Well, he had
his rookie year. And then the
all
ACL year. So 10 Super Bowls in 20 actual seasons.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It truly is. You'll never see that again.
No.
Never see that again. And all the great ones are gone now. All the old timers have retired. Well, Aaron Rodgers is hanging in there.
Aaron Rodgers is
how much longer.
Mahomes would have been
he's an up-and-comer now.
He would have been a good option because he's already been away. He's been to 3. Or he'd been at 2.
Well,
this would have been 3.
Mahomes is the young gun where you pass the torch, though, too. He's still, 25, 26 years old? Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And he owns a baseball team. Part owner of a baseball team.
Unbelievable.
Alrighty, I leave you with Brad Holmes at the Senior Bowl talking about the Lions and how lucky they are that they got Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Team we have, it's just it's a tough, gritty group that's about perseverance, and whether it's wide receiver, whether it's defensive perimeter or skill in the back and whatever it is. That's what I've always said about St. Brown is that when we selected him, I know it's there was a lot made about, draft a receiver, and then, when we draft a receiver, but it was him. It was him because he fit what we're all about. He's a gritty, tough, physical player that when he is explosive, he does reach those core traits that we're looking for. He's smart, he's physical, he's instinctive, he's relentless, he's explosive. So he's a good fit. So I guess as you go
Hey, that was a hell of a 4th-round pick for the Lions, and only going to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's fun watching him play. He played at a clip, and you just saw like that strength and that confidence, man. Once you find confidence, like you just keep it rolling, man. Like it can elevate where you are, and you saw that time and time again towards the last 8 weeks of the season. It's going to be a player.
Hell of a show, boys.
What a day, guys! John U. Bacon,
Dan Lust
brought it. Dan Lust brought it.
Angelique
brought it. Braylon brought it.
Maz
brought it. Maz brought it. Fish brought it. Alex brought it. You brought it in the YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, you did.
Hell yes, everybody.
That's the real MVP.
We are freaking Woodward Sports. We are here every freaking day.
Boom.
Tell a friend about us, man. We got you. We had Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL a month and a half ago. Who's paying attention out there? We got you. We got you.
Somebody had Burrow being the man about a year ago, but
we got you.
Over here, man, so.
Come on. Enjoy the snow. Be safe out there, Braylon.
It is Black History Month, and I got to remind you guys about Black History Month. Got to give some information every day. Today was a great conversation that was able to be had through people in the chat. It's all about having a conversation. Racism, things that are unethical. Just having a conversation. Since we're having a conversation about Black History Month, and we were talking about the Washington football team, let's talk about a guy named Doug Williams. Doug Williams is the first black quarterback to be drafted in the first round. He was drafted in 1978 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maz's favorite uniform of all time. Second favorite. I know Chargers, then the Buccaneers. Traded to the Washington football team.
No, the Commanders.
Exactly, the Commanders, where he backed up Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann gets hurt in the playoffs. Then insert Doug Williams. Doug Williams comes in, wins the NFC Championship game, and the night before the Super Bowl, 6-hour root canal abscess surgery. If you ever had a root canal and an abscess, oh my God, it is painful. I had one last year during COVID. It is the worst thing ever.
I remember that.
6-hour abscess root canal surgery, but guess what he does? He goes out there and he beats John Elway in the Super Bowl, breaks Joe Montana's record for passing yards in the game with 334 and 4 touchdowns, and gets the win. Shout out to Doug Williams because of what Doug Williams was able to do.
MVP.
And endure. And he was MVP. Joe Montana broke his record again last year and got his record back. But what Doug Williams was able to do, it paved the way for Michael Vick, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, insert black quarterback or diverse quarterback here. So Doug Williams, we appreciate you. Washington Commanders, Hall of Fame, Ring of Honor, Doug Williams. This is The Bottom Line. I'm Edwards. That's Ermanni. That is Fish on Wednesdays. That is my guy, Alex Mayer, over there in the booth. Shout out to Michigan State for the win yesterday. Mayer, you got yourself a win. 1.9 seconds left on the clock. And that is the big guy, Maz, on the couch. This is The Bottom Line. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe in the snow, by the way. Stay safe.
He's got Walker with 10. Tyson Walker off the screen from Bingham. Hall bluffs the shot with 3. He spun it in. What a take by Malik.